Hello everybody, I am Srimati Ashwini S. Tenginkai from Department of Chemistry. So I shall be taking up organic chemistry chapters for you. So today I shall be dealing with the new lesson Organic Chemistry, some basic principles and techniques. So what is organic chemistry? It is the study of compounds of carbon and hydrogen and their derivatives. So which are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen? You had studied in 10th standard. They are called as, very good, hydrocarbons. And what do you mean by their derivatives? So methane is an example for organic compound. So it has carbon and hydrogen. Similarly, we have ethane, C2H5 is an organic compound. So if I remove one hydrogen from methane and replace it by chlorine, then it is called as chloromethane, and chloromethane is said to be what? Derivative of hydrocarbon. So what are organic compounds? They are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen and their derivatives. In this case, methane and ethane are hydrocarbons and chloromethane is what? Derivative of organic compound. So some very important organic compounds which we come across in our life, each one of you in the class or each one of them in the college can name an organic compound, some of which I am going to quote here. The toothpaste you use, the brush you use, the food we eat like rice, vegetables, roti, fish, etc. are organic. The dress you are wearing, the book you are reading, the pen and pencil you use are all organic. The skin, your muscles, your hair, your heart, your digestive system, except skeletal system are all organic. Did you know this? Hence, study of it is very important and also very interesting. So there are so many large number of organic compounds available in nature. This led to a separate branch of chemistry called as organic chemistry. Okay. Now you may think why the number of organic compounds have outnumbered the rest other compounds available in nature. What do you mean by outnumbered? The number of organic compounds are present in large number compared to other things which are available in nature. So this can be explained due to two properties of carbon. So first one is, this is very important, it can be asked for 2 marks. So first property due to which there are large number of organic compounds is, first one is tetravalency of carbon and second is catenation property. So what do you mean by tetravalency of carbon? What is valency? You had studied in the previous lesson. It is the number of electrons present in the outermost orbital of carbon. So how many electrons are present in the outermost orbital of carbon? 4. It belongs to 14th group. So how do you identify? 14 minus 10 is equal to 4. So 4 is the valency of carbon. In the outermost shell of carbon, how many electrons are there? There are 4 electrons. So for any atom to be happy, how many electrons it should have? It should have how many? 8 electrons. That is octet rule. So carbon, it should have how many electrons to be very happy? It should have 8 electrons in its outermost orbital to be very happy. But Papa carbon is having how many? Only 4. So if it needs 4 more, either it has to lose all the 4 to somebody else and become 8, or it should pull 4 electrons from somebody else to become 8. But carbon does not have this property, does not have capacity to either snatch electron from the neighbor or it has guts to give its electron to the neighbor. So what it will start doing? It will start sharing its electrons with other atoms. Somehow to attain how many electrons? To attain 8 electrons in its outermost orbital. Understood? So carbon valency is 4. Therefore, it is called as tetravalency. Because there are 4 electrons in the outermost orbital of carbon, as I said, it can neither give electrons nor take electrons. So what it should do? Third thing is, it should start sharing the electrons. So once it starts sharing the electrons, we say which bonds are formed? We say covalent bonds are formed. So what are covalent bonds? They are formed by sharing of electrons. So large number of carbon atoms, they start sharing electrons with each other, as I am showing it here. So I have another carbon here. So this carbon shares its electron with this carbon atom and the process continues. So because it is tetravalent, it is sharing its electrons. When it starts sharing its electrons with itself, it means with same type of atoms, that leads to another property of carbon called as catenation. So what is catenation? Self-linking property. Self-linking property of carbon is called as catenation. So carbon will start making friendship with each other, leading to formation of large number of compounds, which further leads to formation of large number of organic compounds. Therefore, we have a separate branch called as organic chemistry. Science of organic compounds is around 200 years old. Around 1780, chemists started to distinguish between organic compounds which are obtained from plants and animals and inorganic compounds obtained or prepared from minerals. So they started distinguishing between organic compounds and inorganic compounds. Berzelius, a Swedish chemist, he was a chemist from Sweden. Okay, he proposed vital force theory. What does vital force mean? It says vital force means it is supernatural force or something related to God. He said that a vital force was responsible for formation of organic compounds. Understood? And who was it? It was Berzelius. And which theory he proposed? Vital force theory. What is vital force? It is supernatural force. So to be simple, he said organic compounds are God made. Then in the year 1828, Friedrich Wöhler, another chemist, by chance or by mistake, he prepared an organic compound using inorganic compound in his lab. And what was the name of the inorganic compound? Ammonium cyanide. So which was that organic compound he prepared in the lab? Urea. So using ammonium cyanide, an inorganic compound, he prepared urea, an organic compound. So how come urea is an organic compound? You know that urea is one of the excretory products of the animals. Can you name which phylum? Fishes or Pisces. So the excretory product of Pisces is urea. Understood? So using inorganic compound, Friedrich Wöhler prepared urea. For the first time in the lab, organic compound was prepared, and it was not prepared using vital force. So this led to the failure of vital force theory. So synthesis of urea was followed by synthesis of acetic acid, vinegar what we use, and it was prepared by Kolb in the year 1845. Methane was prepared by Berthelot in the year 1856. All this gave a big blow to vital force theory and led to its failure. So development of electronic theory of covalent bonding gave organic chemistry its modern shape. So to summarize what we have studied in this particular class, we understood what are organic compounds, So they are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen and its derivatives. Examples I quoted was methane, ethane for hydrocarbons and chloromethane for its derivatives. And I quoted n number of examples which we come across in our daily life for organic compounds. Then later we discussed about what? We discussed why the number of organic compounds are available in large number compared to inorganic compounds. And what were the two reasons? One is tetravalency and second one is catenation. What is catenation? Self-linking property of carbon. Then we discussed about vital force theory. Who proposed vital force theory? Berzelius. And later we went on to show that vital force theory failed based on the preparation of organic compounds in the lab. So which were the organic compounds prepared in the lab? Urea using ammonium cyanate. Who prepared it? Frederick Kohler. Acetic acid was prepared by Kolb and methane was prepared by Berthelot. So I think you have followed everything in this particular class. In the next class I shall be talking about tetravalency of carbon, shapes of the organic compounds and some characteristic features of the sigma and pi bonds. Thank you for watching the video.